Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, August 20th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. It is great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. Earlier this week, the town of Norwood was saddened to learn the news that longtime Circle of Hope member Kathy St. Cyr passed away. Kathy was known for her tireless efforts to organize and run Norwood's Dancing with the Stars. President of the Circle of Hope, Tim McDonough, remembers all the hard work Kathy put into all aspects of the Dancing with the Stars.
I had the pleasure of knowing Kathy St. Cyr for some 40 years, going back to when she was driving the seniors in the bus. And from there, our friendship only grew larger when she joined and became one of the founders of the Norwood Circle of Hope Foundation. Kathy attended every event, whether it was Luminary Night, the fundraisers we had, comedy nights, etc. But Kathy came up with the idea for Dancing with the Norwood Stars. And I remember the evening quite well. We were all gathered, as we do, at Lee Kennedy's dining room table. And Kathy came up with the idea, and I said, that'll never fly. But she was persistent, and she pushed it, and we said, well, we've got nothing to lose. Sure enough, that first evening down at Kincanna's, we sold out. Kathy took it. She went to other towns to show them how well we had done with it. Because of her perseverance over these last several years with Dancing with the Stars, that particular venue has raised almost $1 million. And most of that is because of Kathy St. Cyr's dedication and hard work. She would drive people to open up their wallets and support the dancers. And they all became friends, just like all of us on the Circle of Hope are one big family. And it hurts when you lose somebody like Kathy, because she did so much for so many people. I was speaking with Dave Tuttle, and he said, God must need another angel. We lost Bob Doucette from the board a few months back, and now Kathy's up there. So I think the two of them are commiserating about their days with Dancing with the Stars. So I want to send my condolences to Jeff and the kids, and God bless you, Kathy, for all you did for Norwood people all these years, and Godspeed, my friend.
Co-host George Yusevich also remembers all the fond times working with Kathy for Dancing with the Stars and what she means to not only the organization but the whole town.
When I think of Kathy St. Cyr, I have to smile a bit because I have many fond memories of her with Dancing with the Stars program. I think, first of all, in my mind, she was a visionary because she thought of this idea, Dancing with the Stars, and I don't think anybody on the board really wanted to have it. And she pursued and pursued and pursued, and here we are 11 years later, and we're still getting a lot of money for the town of Norwood. I see her as a dedicated supporter within this community and a dedicated supporter in the effort for the Circle of Hope. She was a supporter of all the dancers. She went to all of their activities and their functions and the things that they ran. And I remember asking her one day, I said, Kathy, how do you do all this? She said, they're supporting us in Dancing with the Stars. The least I can do is support them. And she did. She took money out of her own pocket and did it. Tremendously organized woman. I remember going to her house when I had to do the script before Tim and I sat down with the final script. And she had everything down to the minute. 8 o'clock Tim would be introduced. 8:03 Tim would introduce George, and at 10:12 we would have a break, and she had everything scripted to that degree. And the last thing I remember, she was a very special grandmother. Every time I went over the house, she was taking care of one of the grandkids, and she was dedicated to those kids as she is to her family. And just a very special woman, and what Norwood is all about. She personified what Norwood is all about. That's what I remember about Kathy St. Cyr.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to the St. Cyr family. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. This past weekend, members of the Eagle Scout Troop 44 met at Endine Park to put the finishing touches on one of their community projects. The project was led by Eagle Scout Ryan Larson, and he explains what the project is and why it was important for him to complete.
Today, right now, at Endine Path in Park, there is an Eagle Scout project in Troop 44 Walpole. I was born and raised in Norwood, and I love the outdoors, so I come down to Endine Path a lot. And every time I come down here, there's always people asking me where the trails lead. So I decided to place 2 kiosks on the different trails in Endine Park with trail markers and maps, as well as more information on the kiosks about the park itself and where the trails lead. Yeah, so you gotta build a sign and then you have to dig holes with an auger or some type of tool like that. Roughly 42 inches into the ground, and then you got to get the dirt all the way out and then pour rocks at the bottom to level it out. You have to make sure the kiosk is level itself, and then you have to put concrete in to stabilize the kiosk from bad weather and other stuff like that. So there's a lot that goes into an Eagle project. I started roughly in January planning, funding, buying the different equipment, and fundraising for the project, and I've already done, I think I did 3 different building sessions, which took about 2 hours each, and I've already put in 1 kiosk. This is the 2nd kiosk out of 2 that I put in. Both took around close to 2 hours to completely put in. I really think it's important to do Eagle Project because nowadays a lot of stuff is more in technology, and putting in the Eagle projects outdoors is really allowing people to enjoy nature for what it is. Yeah, so I had the Troop 44 Walpole Boy Scouts help me. A lot of great people out there, and everyone's really hard working.
Thanks, Ryan, and the rest of Troop 44 for all your hard work to improve Endine Park. Last week, figure skaters from all over the world traveled to Norwood to compete in the 2021 Cranberry Cup, hosted at the Skating Club of Boston. These skaters are some of the best in the world and are hopeful to be competing for their respective Olympic teams next winter. Skating Club CEO Doug Zeghype was thrilled about how the event turned out.
So last week the club hosted its first spectator events. It started out as 1 local event. It ended up being 3 events because of COVID and because of U.S. figure skating's comfort and how the club could handle a COVID-safe event. So we had the Cranberry Open, the Cranberry Cup, and the Lake Placid Dance International, which came down to Norwood for 1 year only because the Lake Placid Olympic rink is closed for renovations. So it was an amazing week of competition, 503 athletes in total, 63 clubs from around the country, as far away as Colorado, Texas, Florida, California, and importantly, 21 countries, Russia, China, Hong Kong, Korea. It was a really impressive list of skaters here. In the senior men's division, we had 2 medalists, Jimmy Ma in 2nd and Norwood's own Max Nomoff in bronze. And then we had countless medalists and champions at the local level. It was pretty exciting for the club. It was a great breakout first event for this club and this facility, and the word on the street and across the country and actually now around the world is that what we've built here really is best in class and one of a kind. So we're pretty pleased with that. Our next event comes up. It's in September. It's a U.S. figure skating event that is also an international event. And that list of skaters will be announced actually next week. And once that happens, you can go to our website, scboston.org, see a list of skaters, see when tickets go on sale. And again, if you want to see some top international skaters compete pre-season, as everybody winds up for their Olympic trials in their home countries, it's a good event to see. So over last weekend, which was the culmination of the week's competition, we had several hundred spectators in the building each day. We had a pretty strict mask policy with regards to COVID. Everybody was compliant, followed it. We had 0 cases of infection in the building, and we're still monitoring to see if there's any reported transmission since, but we think we're good and we had a COVID-free event. So we're pretty excited about that. We're pretty excited that everybody off the ice wore masks. There were no complaints, and the only ones who got an exception were the skaters, and it was optional for them, but certainly all the skaters opted not to wear masks while they competed.
The skaters from the Skating Club of Boston competed extremely well, finishing 2nd and 3rd in the men's singles performance. Second place skater Jimmy Ma was more than pleased with his performance.
I was surprised and not surprised, because I knew that I was training well leading up to it. It wasn't easy, but I pulled through, right? And so I kind of just knew it, like everything just was very, very automatic. That attributes to my whole team backing me, you know, people of this club, my coaches, my teammates. Just the support was unreal, right? So I had faith in myself that I could really put myself out there and skate well. Getting second was surprising just because the caliber of skaters that were here. Obviously, you know, home court advantage, that was very satisfying, to say the least. And then for, like, you know, personal goals, I want to be able to add more expensive jumps into my program, which means just more difficult, more quads, get them more consistent, while still focusing on, you know, the little things that make a program great. Heading into nationals, heading into the season, I just want to have like a relatively steady way up. You know, if we have a bobble here and there, that's totally chill. But at nationals, I really want to show like what I've really been working on. Hopefully making it onto the Olympic team, that's always the dream. But if I fell short of that, I'm okay with it as long as I give everything that I have.
Congrats to all the skaters that performed and to the skating club for hosting such a well-run event. On Sunday, the 150th Steering Committee held an informational meeting at the Senior Center to recruit volunteers to help with all the celebrations that will be held next year. Here's Committee Chair Tom Maloney with a recap.
Well, today was a volunteer event for anybody interested in helping us with Norwood 150, the town's year-long sesquicentennial celebration. So we had publicized it. We had about 50 people here today. We publicized it on social media, through all the various meetings, selectmen and planning board, everybody mentioned it. But the word got out. We got about 50 people. We had a great time. And the mission really was to let people know where we are in the planning stages. We've come up with a lot of events that we want to produce. They are underway now. Now we need volunteers. So we invited people in to come tell us, what do you want to work on? What do you want to do? How do you want to be involved? And to share some ideas that they might have too on other things that we might not yet have thought of. And we need all the help we can get.
If you missed the meeting and would like to sign up to volunteer, committee member Liz Reed tells us how.
How can you help out? Just visit our website, norwoodma150.gov. That's norwoodmass150.gov. On that page, you'll find our events calendar to see what we do have plans coming up. And if there's anything you want to volunteer for, whether it's a specific event or just whenever we need bodies to set up and break down events, you can do that on our website. Along the top of the screen, you'll see a link for applications. Click that. The very first one is the volunteer application. Fill out how we can contact you if you have any other volunteer experience and how you'd like to help out. We need all sorts of people to help, from planning to implementation to knocking on doors to calling food trucks. We need help and we want you. Please be a part of history, a part of Norwood's rich past and bright future.
Norwood News will continue to provide updates about all the 150th celebrations, which will begin with a first night celebration on December 31st. Now we're going to toss it over to Mike Maloof for this week's sports update.
Thanks, Kristen, and welcome to this week's sports update. Athletes grades 10 through 12 were up on the turf field bright and early Friday morning as tryouts for the football team got underway. This marks the official start of the 2021 fall season. For the rest of the fall sports, tryouts will begin on Monday. The schedule for those teams are as follows. Freshman football will be trying out Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 at the turf field. Boys and girls cross country will be trying out Monday and Tuesday at 8 a.m. at the NHS track. Field hockey will be Monday and Tuesday from 8 to 11 a.m. on the NHS turf. Golf will be Monday and Tuesday as well at 1 o'clock at Norwood Country Club. Boys soccer will be Monday and Tuesday from 3 to 6 at Father Max. And girls soccer will be Monday from 3 to 5 on the turf and Tuesday from 8 to 10 at Father Max. And finally, girls volleyball on Monday, freshmen will be from 9 to 11 in the gym, and grades 10 through 12 will be from 11 to 1 in the gym. And on Tuesday, all grades will be trying out together from 11 to 1 in the gym. Stay tuned next week for some recaps of those tryouts. That's all for sports. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. In government, Monday night, the Finance Commission met with Hilltop advisors regarding the town's credit rating and financial status. The Commission also discussed upcoming meetings and the possibility of meeting in person and possible meeting locations. The FinCom will meet again next month. The Planning Board also met Monday night at the NCM studio. The board met with Luigi Soletto and Chris Kirby, who are looking to acquire an MUOD special permit for 7 to 9 Cottage Street. The board continued the hearing pending further information. Neil Hansen and David Hearn represented 83 Morse Street, the Space Center on the site plan review and possible future parking at the location. The Planning Board will meet again in the coming weeks. The Board of Selectmen met with representatives of Moderna at their Tuesday night meeting. Moderna gave a brief presentation of a future development they plan to make at their Norwood campus. They also discussed their work over the past year on the COVID-19 vaccination. The Selectmen then received an in-depth presentation of the Fire Department from Chief Maurice and Deputy Chiefs Cody and Hayes. The presentation was a look at the improvements and purchases made during George Maurice's tenure as Chief. This was Chief Maurice's last appearance in front of the Selectmen before his retirement later this month. We wish you all the best, Chief Maurice. The Selectmen will meet again August 31st. The Conservation Commission met Wednesday night for a hybrid meeting. 2 public hearings applied for continuance until September 3rd, and both requests were approved. The 2 applicants will appear before the Commission at the next meeting. Moving into the agenda, the Commission discussed the possibility of public access to Willett Pond. Holly Jones presented an update on the St. Street Park concept plan. Similar to the community garden, a food forest may be coming to Endine Park. Member John Gear shares more.
And I think we probably could get some help from the folks that are involved with the community garden, Mark's group, and maybe even like there's other gardening clubs in Norwood, especially for a one-time event to really start it and get it established, and then maybe there'll be enough interest to keep it going and get. And then the other thing is too, proximity to the junior high school.
You're like reading my mind.
Get the kids involved.
I would love that. I mean, yeah, 9 out of 12 months, there's a whole fleet of opportunity to engage the middle school students in education and, a way for them to contribute to like their community and a wonderful resource.
This whole area, eventually, if things go well, has a possibility of being an extended classroom for the whole town, really. I think that would be awesome.
Yep, totally agree with that.
The group discussed the CPC report and exciting plans for Norwood Day. The Commission meets next on September 3rd. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government Channel or watch on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news. Welcome back. Following the farmers market on Monday, the Senior Center hosted an ice cream social. Residents came together to enjoy a frozen treat on a beautiful afternoon. Norwood resident Marianne Bulger fills us in.
We are enjoying hot fudge sundaes at the Norwood Senior Center. Best place in the whole world. I got hot fudge and whipped cream, no cherry. 2 times. I still like the vanilla with hot fudge. That's my favorite in the whole world. Unless I had a brownie underneath it. Yeah, I want to shout out to Carrie and Nancy and Anne-Marie for a great time. They work so hard.
Fran Kenny loves ice cream and the Senior Center.
What a great day, huh? Look at this. We got more people didn't sign up for it. They kept coming in and said, oh, ice cream free. So it was great. We've all had a wonderful afternoon. We don't have trouble having people come here, that's for sure.
The The last Senior Center supper is on Tuesday, August 31st. Call ahead to book your spot. Nothing says summertime like a farmer's market. Oakdale Farms returned to the Senior Center on Monday for the last pop-up market of the season. A large crowd came out for fresh fruits and veggies. The wide selection of fresh tomatoes, cucumbers, broccoli, corn, carrots, and more were purchased by the dozens. As a reminder, Oakdale Farms offers weekly delivery. Simply place an order on their website for fresh produce delivered right to your front door. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.